Hey everyone, there's Athekos, and today I'm bringing you something that I kind of announced in one of my recent videos, that I will bring you a little bit more RPG content. Of course, most of my content will still be board games, but I will have the occasional short RPG videos where I show you some of the RPG accessories I have. Because I think there are quite a few cool things that I collected during the past years. Today I will bring you the Dossier decks. These I backed, I think, last year on... No. These I backed 2 years ago, I think in 2019. So I've had them quite a while. And these help you when you are game master or dungeon master, if you want to get Dungeons and Dragons about it, in a tabletop RPG. So there were 3 decks you could get. And I think this was the maximum. I think there weren't any more. I hope that at some point there will be more of these decks coming out. So we have merchants, mages, and orcs and goblins. Let me just start with merchants and kind of show you how this works. So imagine you are a game master and you are in the midst of an adventure. Doesn't matter what kind of adventure, maybe you own. And then there is some kind of NPC you want to introduce to the world and to the players, some NPC you did not plan beforehand, because the players are doing their own thing as usual. They're not doing anything that you want, and they're not adhering to anything you are telling them. So you need to make up an NPC, and they're asking for the name. Of course, you do have an NPC name generator in your browser tab, or if it can be a generic fantasy one, you already got them in here. And then they want to know how they look like. You need to describe the NPCs then. How do they look like? How are they dressed? How do they behave? And this is where these character decks come in. So, for example, I'm just taking the merchants one for now. You open the deck and you can see you have different things here, are different categories here. We have story hooks. Then we have traits. Let me get those out. And also we have appearance, like this. These are the 3 decks you have. And let me put that like this here. And then you just take 1 card of each. So if you want to describe your NPC. So either you can do it by chance. I usually go through the deck quickly and see, okay, which one would fit this, which one would fit the situation. Now let's take her here. I think she would work quite well. So you already have an appearance. And so you have an appearance. You see how she looks like. You have an entire image here, which is great. Also with clothing and everything. So you can do a lot with that. And then also have a name here. This would be Talni Barkova. And also you have a small description. This dark-eyed character is quite beautiful despite a large facial scar. And if you look here closely, you can see a scar there. So, alright, so you got your appearance already. And with that, you can already do quite a lot, right? But how is this person like? Well, then we have the traits. Either you choose one of the cards, or you just take it randomly. I usually go through it quickly and see what happens here. So let's take Barletown here. Why not? Well, maybe let's take something like this here. Business of Arms and Armor. She has a scar, so that could make sense. So let's take this then here. And then you see there are 3 different traits here. So the first one would be Comrades in Arms. This character is well versed in the business of arms and armor. So she could be like an armorsmith maybe, or just a weapon merchant. The affinity for weapons and armor also extends to those most likely to use it. Warriors receive a favorable reaction when dealing with them. So you already see, okay, if there's a warrior in the party, as a player character, then you can also already have different interaction there. Been there, done that. This character is a former member of the military and has intimate knowledge about the organization's inner workings. And there's also then a quote by the character, for the character. 16 years I worked with the guard. There isn't much I haven't seen. And also then the third one we have here, very sharp. This character is never without a short blade, and more often than not they pass the time sharpening it. So now we just put here 2 cards and you already have a pretty deep character. I mean, for just an NPC, right? For an NPC, this is pretty deep already. And the rest you can pretty much make up yourself. But if you want to take it one step further, then you could also take one of these story hooks. So, for example, let's take this one here. The Hidden World. That looks pretty cool. So then the hidden world. This character conducts business with the Fey realm via a secret route. Entry into the realm is only possible by executing a specific series of words and motions at a specific time and location. Precision is key, and knowledge of the entry ritual does not guarantee it will work. This character always brings gifts to the Fae. So this is pretty cool, right? I mean, now you also have a story hook here. This story hook, what you can do with, there is a lot of things you can do with that. Either you can just use it to make the character deeper and more interesting, maybe add some backstory to the character. That would already work, right? You could say that maybe her father was a merchant, or maybe the father was a warrior, maybe, that had good relations with the Fae realm. Maybe. And then she decided to take the merchant route because, I don't know, something happened, but still have warrior training by her dad. But when her father died, she actually took over the connection to the Fae realm, for example. Or you could take that as a plot hook, like as a hook for maybe a side quest or anything. And in case you have seen my latest RPG video, you might remember the deck of many quests which are presented there. If not, why don't you go over to my channel and check it out, because that's a really cool item to have for a game master. And then you could also combine those, right? You have that character here now, and also you want the character to be a little more deeper and more important in the world, so you could maybe give a quest to the players. You already know about the Fae realm, right? So you could just look through all the quests in here and look for a quest that has to do with fairies or fays or anything, maybe, right? And that could be a quest Talny would give to the players. So there's a lot you can do with that, and I really enjoy that. I think this is a really great tool, and I've used that already. I haven't used the deck of many quests yet, because usually I write down I construct all the quests I want in an adventure myself. But this one I have used, because you always need to create new NPCs, and some of them are more important than others. So I think that is a pretty cool thing. So I just chose cards now, right? What you can also do is just shuffle them. If you say it really doesn't matter what kind of NPCs, how the NPC looks like, they encounter, and then you just turn that over, and you see here, that's definitely something way different. The only thing you need to keep in mind here is that this is, of course, very fantasy heavy, right? So if you have a science fiction adventure, you can still use these cards, right? I mean, you can just take a look at the person here. For example, this looks very royal, so you can just take that, put that into a science fiction context. You would have to use a different name, but as a good game master, you always have a name generator open anyway. And but the rest can stay. I mean, this can stay. I mean, you might have to change a few things and change from fantasy to science fiction, for example, or whatever your system is, your setting is like. But you can still use these cards then, right? You would just have to change it a little bit more, but it will still give you the inspiration you need to create a decent character. And there are two more decks. The other one is Orcs and Goblins, which is of course the most fantasy-like. But if we take a look here, let me open that quickly. Well, less quickly than I wanted to. But then you see here, there also are like half elves and everything, but mostly it's just Orcs and Goblins, as you can see here, right? I haven't used that one yet. I think you could also use it for non-orcs, right? Probably. But if you have like an orc heavy campaign, this is great. You have pretty much everything you need here for all characters. And then we also have mages, which is quite interesting, because then you go into the more human or elf direction again, as you can see here. And you see these are mages, but I mean the appearances here don't have to be mages, right? The appearances can also be other people, right? But it's just another idea of different characters you can use, and they are all decks are the same way. You also have story hooks and traits and appearances. And as a little surprise to you, because I somehow I missed that when I grabbed all the decks, there's a fourth deck I forgot, and that's probably the most important one. That's the Commonest deck, because in the Commonest deck, of course, you have a little bit more, let me put it like this, normal people, right? These are no merchants, no mages, these are just people, right? You have some some elf here and humans and whatever, even Dragonborn here. That's a draconic character. So you have a lot of different characters here too. So this is very good for using in your campaign also, right? And same thing as usual, you always have the story hooks, you always have the traits, and you always have the appearances. So these 4 decks, let me just put them here again so you can see them. I will have to sort everything back later again. But these are all the decks that you could get back then. So we have the commoners, merchants, mages, and orcs and goblins. And these are really helpful. I really already used them in my adventures because you always have to create NPCs, right? This is really great. I don't know if you can still get those as usual. These were a Kickstarter thing, but I'm pretty sure you can still order them or get them someplace. I will just put a link to the Kickstarter project from 2019 in the description, so you can take a look at the project. And from there, you can probably figure out how to get these decks yourself. Right, and that's pretty much it from my side. So I hope you enjoyed this video, although it's not a board gaming one. I know most of you tune in for the board gaming videos, but I still hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments how you like these videos, if you mind me just posting the occasional RPG accessories video. But I think these can be really interesting because a lot of board gamers I know also play tabletop RPGs. If this is the first of my videos you see, why don't you head over to my channel and check out the other ones? That'd be great. It'd be great to see you there. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching in case you're still doing so, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, take care everyone, and cheers.